Good evening and welcome to this MRT News Channel special presentation, the October 2017 General Staff Meeting. Good evening, my name is Skelly Zofferman, and the General Staff Meeting has just concluded the private portion. It was very long-winded. It started at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. As you can see now, it is 6:16 Eastern Time, which means that it lasted 1 hour and 16 minutes. My apologies, 3 hours and 16 minutes, which would be one of the longest general staff meetings in the last few months. You can see in Safari that part of this was caused by the fact that there were now 3 premier cities to be. There were 3 premier cities that were reviewed as part of the new policy to review premier cities during the general staff meeting instead of during the city batches. And in addition, there were 12 different community issues that were discussed, 3 of which were redacted. As you can see, we're currently on a 10-minute tea break, and then the public portion will begin with the announcements from Flumple, but also occurring is the opening of the Eastern Line, which is completed not too long ago. And players will be able to claim stations on the Eastern Line for the first time, with the ceremony being emceed by AP_Reds. We're now going to join Mumble, and I will come back on for the public portion.
And do Q&A after that.
I can hear your younger sibling, or whatever they are.
I was forced to babysit.
Yeah, I've been like gone all day, and I hired Mindman to like cover the GSM for MBS, and I got back just as the public portion is starting.
Yeah, it
But
took
oh well,
forever.
he's still gonna do it anyway because I'm not prepared to do it.
It's absolute madness. Everyone's lining up on the eastern line to claim.
I don't need. If I ever make a new town, it's not even gonna be on an MRT line.
Yeah, it's me, Alfie, Lendon, Super Builder, Modernize, Kel5 and Mega, Seshpang, and that's it.
And the tea break is just starting now, which means that the public portion will begin at 6:28 p.m. Eastern Time.
How long do you think they'll last today?
Hi guys.
Hey, baseball.
I'll be back before you get 6:29.
Oh, what's Kel doing? Kel's going for Ian 26. With PTLD, apparently it's against the rules to claim on behalf of other people.
Which is stupid in this situation, where I'm locked out of my computer due to Microsoft. Well, fuck it. Too bad, I guess. Blame Microsoft.
You should be able to claim on behalf of other people. I mean, what are the people who live in a place where it's currently 3 a.m. supposed to do?
Exactly.
Maybe I just try. If I can get on, maybe. If Windows 10 saying, you have to update to the Creators Update. I don't want it. I really don't think
MRT News
so.
Chat is brought to you by the Church of Jesus Christ in Latter-day Saints.
So anyway, I was going downtown to get my haircut today, and like, there's just so many homeless people.
Is Fred on?
No.
Let's see.
So we are contesting EN15.
I do plane replacement right now, but the fact that there's a GSM
on,
going
testing
on makes that
15.
impossible.
We'd like to welcome our viewers just joining us. The public portion of the General Staff meeting will be beginning soon with owner Fumpole, and we will bring it to you live when it begins.
1 FPS right now.
We couldn't complete the update.
The tea break is currently in progress right now, and the public portion will start momentarily at around 6:29 Eastern Time.
Yeah, I'm in.
Is your computer booted?
Yeah, it's booted. And I just need to boot
Okay.
up Minecraft.
Alright, TPA to me when you get in.
Where's the GSM being held? Is that at the Admod building or Frumple's house or somewhere else?
I think it's at the terminus of the
I assume because of the Eastern line.
Yep.
Oh, well, I don't know where that warp is, so I'm just gonna TPA to Mega and hope he's there.
I'm at EN22.
I am at the
Who's in Verdant?
I'm there, Kitty.
Wait, what's going on?
The opening ceremony for the Eastern Line. It's at EN37.
Yeah, I can't go there.
Let's go.
Oh boy! Here come the stuff.
Oh, good.
Here we go.
Staff. Do.
Most people have ever seen 110.
accept my teleport request.
I don't know why there's so many people on today. This seems a little ridiculous. My throat is itchy. So, well, that too, I guess. Hold on one sec.
Seems as though I'm not.
So I will try to do. Sorry, I'll try to do as much announcements as possible, but apologies if I falter a little bit. People. Okay, so I'm gonna start recording. One sec here.
Okay.
I've already prepared. Yep, thanks. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Wow, okay, that's lackluster. Hello. Okay, so this is the public portion of the general staff meeting for the Minecraft Revitrans server. It is October 28th, 2017. I know people are anticipating the Eastern Line opening.
Hold tight.
Do we want to do that first, or do we want to do that after I do my announcements? I don't know.
I think we're
Actually,
doing the
one-
announcements first and then opening the line, because, yeah, while we have a captive audience here.
Okay, sure, I'll do that. So there's a whole bunch of announcements. I'll try to get through them as quickly as possible. So the first topic I'd like to address is the topic name was redacted, but it reads on here, United Cities Again. I've been made aware of some further incidents happening in the United States that are not really good. Just some disrespect and misunderstandings between people there, and it wasn't just one incident. I did have to I did ask for access to the UC Discord to investigate the situation. And I filled in the rest of the staff here who are not in the UC on what's going on. I did work with, just so you know, I did work with some of the UC officials and the MRT staff on there to make Resolution 150. I'm giving the UC a second chance. I don't want to say second chance, but a chance to self-regulate and monitor their own members. And we'll see how it goes. If we find that it doesn't work out, that we still see a level of disrespect and basically a toxic environment, in my opinion, from the UC, then we will take further action later on. So this is the UC's chance to essentially redeem themselves and figure that out. I will say that I'm quite disappointed of some of the conduct of some people in the UC. I think part of it is because people. I think there's room for healthy debate within the UC, but a lot of people don't know how to engage in a healthy debate. A lot of arguments I saw sort of devolved into name calling and being disrespectful and attacking the player rather than the arguments that are being proposed by that player. And I'm disappointed at the fact that these are the same people that are on the MRT server, and it feels like, from my perspective, that when these people are on the MRT server, they do behave and follow the rules, but when they're on the UC, they're not. So this is why I'm pushing for the UC to actually enforce these rules, enforce some sort of decorum in the UC, such that it doesn't leak into the MRT server itself. So that's what I have to say about that. On a related note to that, I would like to, on a more general note, I would like to remind everyone that on the server, we do have players who are on the autistic spectrum. So this can range from anything from Asperger's syndrome to even more severe forms of autism. And I would just like to remind not just newer players here who haven't been on here for a while, but also older players, that please keep that in mind when you're interacting with people. Sometimes, if you've never interacted with someone with autism before, they do have, it is more difficult for them to recognize social cues, to socialize, they do have a tendency to take things very literally. So when people make jokes around around these people or be sarcastic, that can be interpreted in a very different way. So on the other side, the people with autism do have to make an effort. They can understand others, and they can empathize with others. It is a two-way street, and I do think that from both sides, I think there needs to be a lot more patience, a lot more understanding, and there is a place for jokes and sarcasm, but be aware that sometimes your sarcasm or jokes can be interpreted in a wrong way. It can result in a miscommunication and a misunderstanding. So I'm just going to say that as a reminder to everyone, and please keep that in mind. And hopefully we can all get along a little bit better. The third topic I want to talk about is we've heard some reports from Vern Cow. I will mention his name explicitly here. That he's been receiving some emails, or basically some harassing emails regarding Modern Arts Town. There was, if you recall from a previous GSM, there was a kerfuffle regarding the wiki about this, where there was basically a wiki editing war, where people were demanding Vern Cow return the town to Modern Art. I've done a bit of an investigation, and unfortunately, there isn't much we can go on. The emails that he is receiving are from a random, like basically burner emails, so we can't determine who the person is. And I've also talked with Modern Art, and he flatly denies the allegations. He actually says he's not interested in getting the town back. So at this point, I am not sure what is going on here. I will say though that if the person who is sending those harassing emails, I would strongly suggest that you stop. That is not really. That's not cool. Basically, don't do that on the server. Even though you're doing it outside of the server and by email, that is essentially harassment. And if it continues for a really long time, then we may have to consider perhaps Vern will contact the authorities in his area about it, because yeah, that's essentially bullying. It's cyberbullying essentially, and that is not frowned upon. If the MRT staff officials do discover who it is, then we will enact a punishment for that. But at the time, we do not have any suspects. So, moving on, we have a couple of rule amendments that we'd like to announce. First off is a definition of the deputy mayor role. Previously, we had said that, at least on the website, if you read it on there, the deputy mayor's role is to take over a town if the original mayor is banned. But what we've also done unofficially is give that town if the original mayor is inactive for at least 3 months. So we're going for that last part there. We're going to make that an official rule. So deputy mayors will get a town if the original owner has been banned or if they've been inactive for 3 months. There was some discussion about there's a requirement for the mayor rank to have a deputy mayor, but we've decided to keep that requirement there for now. What else did we decide? I'm a little trying to read your notes, Chief.
Auto transfer immunity.
Yes. So there's also discussion about, for example, let's say a player wants their town to not be transferred automatically if they get banned or they become inactive. And we were discussing some possible options about this, but for the time being, what we're going to say is for premier cities, considering that they are, for the most part, considered finished cities, we will say that they are immune to this sort of automatic transfer. So that means that any premiers who become inactive, the ownership won't be transferred. And this actually already applies right now to some premier cities, like for example Whitechapel. Frozen is totally inactive, but H&T has been was a deputy mayor, but is now considered the caretaker. But he is not the mayor of Whitechapel because the city is considered finished for the most part. We don't want to add anything drastic to Whitechapel. So I will also mention that this will not apply if the premier person is banned. If the premier does get banned for some reason, that'd be really surprising to me. But at that point, we will decide what to do with the town at that point.
Just to clarify, so this is because we recognize that premier cities are effectively complete big projects, even if they're still being actively worked on, they will be immune from this inactivity automatic transfer. So in that case, you don't need to worry about it. We had some discussion, and there have been questions already sent to me about governor cities being eligible for this. We did not consider, or we did discuss governor cities a bit, but we are not enacting anything for governor cities at this time.
Yeah, we may consider that the next further GSMs, but for now, we're going to start with Premier and start from there. So yeah. So moving on, just to be really clear, because I'm seeing some things in chat. So cities, there are not that many premier cities. So cities like Ariza, Whitechapel, Airchester, and Thomastown. Those ones, and Kenthurst. Those ones will, the owners of those cities will remain the owners of those cities, even if they become inactive. So.
Cool.
Okay, sorry. Gonna burp there. Next up is regarding a new rule. So there's something I noticed, and it annoys me greatly. When players transfer a town to someone else, or a town or a company, or anything that they own to another person, what I usually get is an email from the person receiving that town or company. And for staff, that doesn't really help us because we don't have confirmation from the person giving the town or company. So there's going to be a new rule. Basically, if you're going to transfer a town, the person giving away the town or company needs to send the email. Any emails coming from any other person will not be considered. So if you're giving away things, please be sure to email staff about it. Because we do need confirmation that you are giving things away. It'll definitely prevent any further confusion later down the road. The next up is a slight rule amendment, or not exactly a rule amendment, but we did have a request from some players that they wanted a town to be promoted, but the players, actually was several players who sort of worked on the same town, they did not want the promotion themselves. So if you want to refuse a promotion for any reason, player promotion for any reason, that is okay. If you want to do that, just email staff or notify staff with that. Do keep in mind though that we do still require every town does still require a single owner, a single mayor of that town. This just makes it easier for us to transfer the town, just like as I mentioned, in the case that someone gets inactive or becomes banned. So there's that. Next topic is regarding the Far East line. We do have an official name for that line. It'll be called the Jungle Line. So starting with the letter J. And we also had there are no more. We've run out of wool colors or wool colors. So what we're going to do when this line ever gets built, because we don't have any plans for it, but when it does get built, it'll be constructed with jungle wood rather than any other materials. So yeah, so that's about it. Again, there's no plan. I don't know who's going to build that jungle line, but at least if one of the staff want to take it over, that we at least have an idea of what it's going to look like. So Next up is a proposal from Chief regarding basically how to name the lakes around the server. And this is not just lakes, but basically the seas and oceans that make up the new world on the server. After some discussion, we decided to open this up to everyone else, all the players. So if you have a proposal, and it can be a proposal for one kind of body of water or several bodies of water, please send them into the staff email. If the volume of submissions becomes too large, we might set up a format for this. But we just want to see what people's opinions of what they want to name nearby lakes. The proposals will be definitely considered greatly if you have a town nearby a lake. And what will happen is we'll take all the proposals from everyone, and if we find that there's say several people agreeing on the same name on a lake, then we will go with that. Be more likely to go with that. So yeah, so if you have any suggestions for names of bodies of water, please submit them to the staff email. Next up is a little issue from LD regarding the /near command. That will be investigated on the beta server at some point. That's pretty much all I can really say on that one. It's not terribly interesting. Next up is a few suggestions from Moria and Soso regarding several things in Central City and rail and road transport. Moria does have a concern about a high number of incomplete builds in Central City. Castle and possibly other staff will be heading an investigation on this, and we will be applying the standard 3-month building rule that we have on the server to those buildings and decide whether they should be removed or perhaps refurbished into something else. So next up is the Central City, some concerns about Central City third-party bus routes. This is going to be a little complicated to explain, but we've noticed unfortunately, as the service staff, we did fail you in a bit. We failed in the sense that we did not concretely define what was allowed in terms of third-party bus services. There are already some bus hubs, third-party bus hubs like the UC bus hub and Manukau bus hub. And I'm just reading this. So basically what we're going to do is, hopefully, one thing staff might be working on trying to work on the official bus terminal. But in the meantime, we will be allowing we will allow bus stops on any building. So your bus stops must be in the plot. They must not include the road itself. So there's no buses blocking the roads in Central City. And you can build as many bus stops as you want around your building. But as soon as your bus stops, sorry, let me just explain this. The bus stop must be parallel. So basically it's another lane next to the road. Now, for anything else more complicated like that, like say a bus loop or a bus exchange, or where a bus has to pull into a separate road in your plot, then that is considered basically a bus terminal or bus hub. And for those ones, for now we're going to require any new terminals to be approved by staff by email. So if you want to build a terminal, you must email staff about it. Just to prevent Central City from becoming one big series of bus stations. We will say that any private terminals that are specific to one, say, bus company, so just like one company, those will be allowed but will be subject to additional scrutiny. On the other hand, if your bus terminal is open to several companies or several players, those will be more likely to be approved. So please keep that in mind when you are proposing a new bus hub in Central City. I will also note that the Manukau, whoever built the Manukau bus, it's essentially a tower really. That one will need to be removed, or at least the top floors need to be removed, because we won't allow any sort of for one thing, that tower is kind of unrealistic because it has multiple floors with bus bays in it, which doesn't make any sense. So we will require that one to be reduced in height.
Frumple, about the UC bus hub, would that be counted as one company or as a public one?
The UC bus terminal will be allowed to stay as it is.
No, I mean, just definition-wise, is it defined as a private or public terminal?
It is it would be defined as a public terminal because it's not it is restricted to members of the UC, but it is multiple people that can put their buses.
If the UC had its own bus agency and only the UC bus agency was allowed to use it, then it would be a private terminal.
Okay. Please keep questions to the end of this so I can get through, because there are still a lot of announcements here. The last thing I will discuss is one last complaint from Moria of Mines regarding he basically asked for limits, like hard block limits on highways and rail links, which is kind of hard to do. Well, kind of hard to do, especially since we just liberalized those rules recently. We won't be adding this sort of strict distance limit, but we would like to clarify regarding the ownership of basically the land ownership around these rail lines. We have noticed that there are some rail lines that do go far off into a lot of undeveloped land, especially like plains or deserts. And we want to make sure that if people want to build towns in that area, you can build your towns around these rail lines. The rail lines should not be able to hog or reserve land around their rail lines. So if that sort of dispute happens in the future, that is our position on this. Though I will say that if because the rail owner was there first, following the first come first serve rule, the rail owner does not have to accommodate the town in such a way to add stations or adjust the line, such as like maybe moving it underground for that reason. So they will still own the rail line, but the land around the rail line is not for them to reserve for themselves. So that's that. I'm gonna skip that section. We're gonna move on to roads. For the most part, most of these roads have been approved. So B753, B754, so just proposed by SBDev, that has been approved with MFish's consent. I'm going to go through the ones that have been approved first. The A746 proposed by Lithium has been approved. This is an upgrade from a B road to an A road. And there is another unnamed road from Mega MC proposed. I don't know exactly what the destinations of this one. This has been approved with a caveat, with a condition that you take care as you're constructing through the mountains. Now, the one thing that was not approved was a suggestion for renumbering the southern roads, plus an extension of the A5 highway by time to make my move. This one has been denied because I would rather to see that this proposal be separated into two after looking at it, because I didn't actually notice, and a lot of the staff didn't notice that there was an actual extension proposal in this. So I would like to see one separate proposal for the extension plus some screenshots showing where this extension would go, and then another proposal for the renumbering. And with that one, I would like to see more, like basically reasons why we should renumber the roads, because your initial proposal did not include any of this. So whew, okay, moving on. I think I'll skip that one. There's going to be, we did get a suggestion from a player to if you guys remember, Thomas made a map of all the wards on the Epsilon, basically Epsilon server wards with all the sections. That's how the road numbering kind of works. We're going to go ask Thomas to maybe, if he has time, maybe recreate that map, but for the new expanded New World. And hopefully we can get that soon. There's also a Central City Mall building competition suggested by, or proposed by Frosty_Creeper10. Oops, excuse me. This event does have prizes that'll be provided by the admins. This has been conditionally approved. Everything else about the event is okay, except that we like the window for people to participate to be extended to 2 weeks. The original proposal said that there would be about 2 or 3 days for people to build, but we feel that doesn't give enough opportunity for more people to participate. So we'll be talking to Frosty and suggesting that he extend the build window to 2 weeks, hopefully, and from there we'll move forward from there. Next up is an MRT community zoo proposed by Burn Cow. His initial proposal said that he wanted to reserve 2 Eastern Line stations, particularly EN17 and EN18. However, I think this is not really fair to other players to take 2 stations just for this build. So Burn Cow, we're gonna get Burn Cow to choose one or the other. And but basically this is a community build that Burn Cow has suggested, and he will be able to reserve one of those stations. We have a proposal from Alfie Pops regarding an MRT all stations warp center. This warp center would basically allow people to warp to any of the MRT stations. This has been denied, basically for the fact that in our rail construction rules, or for like any other third-party warp trains that are in existence on the server, this sort of thing is not allowed. So, moving finally to auctions. Gonna skip that one. 5B X20C89. The new owner of that will be SOA Puffball. Next up is Downs View ZS21. Time to Make My Move wanted this city, but it was discovered that the original owner has been active within the last month. So time will essentially have to wait until 3 months are up, per our standard rules there. Last one is Shadow Point C6. This was Elite Neon's former town. This one has been awarded to Mercury 203 for his proposal. Finally, moving on, well, not last, but almost. We did look at Premier City reviews, actually, during the meeting. Only out of the 3 candidate cities, and I will also remember to say that for a city to get Premier, they do require a unanimous or near unanimous vote, and only one of these cities was approved, and that city is Segville, built by Godzilla Train. So congrats to that. I don't think Gods is here, but he's not able to say his speech because of technology issues. So he does have a speech. I'm not sure how we're going to communicate that out. So we'll figure something out there. Though I will say to the other 2 candidates here, yeah, the vote was close for at least one of them, or actually probably both of them actually, but unfortunately he did not achieve the unanimous or near unanimous vote there. So,
Gods, would you be okay if we read your speech, or do you want to read it right now?
Yeah, it's up to you. I'd rather we.
Okay, God says that we can read it, so I'll just read it real quick because I have it up.
Okay, go ahead then.
Okay. After playing on the server since pretty much the start, it's honestly an honor that I've been accepted as one of the premiers. Being not an exceptionally good builder, I hope this sets an example that even with mediocre skill, enough effort can still be recognized with the highest rank possible. While I hope to carry on with Segville in the future, I hope this also allows me to help others around the server working on more community projects. Right, that's the speech done. If you were expecting anything better, blame the staff who gave me 20 minutes to finish this speech before the end of the GSM.
Well, I don't know about that because it
was much longer.
I don't know.
That's throwing fire.
God.
So if you know you're going up for premiere, you could write a speech beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, Gods is, I don't know. Gods has been here forever. I think I remember even from the first days the server opened. But, I mean, you should have known that, because you've seen other premiers get promoted, and they always provide a speech. So, I mean, there's no excuse there. But, whatever. Okay, so that'll be posted in the GSM results. Moving on to some last topics here. I think I'll skip that one. Oh yeah, so the next GSM will be a very special edition. I think I've already mentioned it in a few places. The next one will be the Asia Pacific edition of the GSM. The time of this GSM will be 12 p.m. UTC. The date for it... Oh, he didn't write the date here, Chief. Damn it. Okay, where is it? It's Sunday, November 19th. So Sunday, November 19th at 12 p.m. UTC. So just for your notes, just for time zone conversions, that is 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. in Singapore, and 11 p.m. in Sydney. So we're going to try to get Lala, Heaven, Angel, and hopefully Alec in this meeting so they can finally attend the prior portion of the GSM with amongst the rest of us. The time is the most difficult for people on the west coast of America, including myself. So I will try to make an effort to wake up that early at 4 a.m. to make this meeting, but I think it's about time to try doing this and see. We're probably not going to make it a like an ongoing thing or regular thing, because unfortunately with time zones you can't, it's impossible to satisfy everyone. Some people unfortunately have to be left out, but we might do it, maybe more than one occasion here. Okay, so, and yeah, the last topic I will mention briefly regarding the future plans of the server. I still have not decided whether I'm going to continue the server into the next year. I will say that I do have the financial means, or at least the money essentially, to pay for the server for another year. I'm just not sure whether it's the best thing I should be doing right now, considering where my current situation is at. Most likely I will probably pay for the next year, because again, there's so many people on the server and I would probably be disappointing a lot of people, and that would make me feel very guilty. So yeah. In the meantime though, I will say that I do have plans on upgrading the wiki at some point, probably sometime in November. Without all the details, I would like to try to upgrade it to the latest version and perhaps add some new plugins on there, but I'll have more details about that as we get into November. And I think that's all from announcements. I think it's time to open the new section of the Eastern line. How are we going to do this, guys?
AP, where are you at?
I think AP just kind of did it.
Okay, just, yeah. Hey.
Section 2 is not public for whoever said that.
This is section 2. Oh.
There was a section 2, but we skipped it. in the announcements because it was
like
redacted.
a section 2 to the public portion.
Oh,
I'm very confused.
Frumple, I think you have to, if you have a 30-second speech to declare the line open.
I like MRT lines. I'm still surprised people are still building them. I like the Eastern line in particular because it is colored green, and green is my favorite color. So I hope you have fun with this new line, and please don't, please be nice to each other as you rush off and try to claim stations around here.
We're gonna hold both EN 17 and EN 18. Once Burn Cow has picked which one he wants to have, we will release the other one. So those two are reserved.
Do not claim them.
Oh yeah, hey, staff. Just a little heads up. EN 21 and EN 20 are unusable due to a town right next to them. EN 20 is actually cut in half by the 300 block rule.
Can you message AP about that?
Yeah. Oh, he's there.
It's
straight AP. It's straight to the north.
In general, please do keep in mind rules about claiming when claiming the news stations. They still all apply.
Are they all claiming it now? Is it open already? Oh, okay.
Go.
People are already there, but
Yeah,
whatever.
Kind of can't stop it at this point.
Or something.
Okay, while that's happening.
Okay. While that's happening, I think it's time for our Q&A. So, just to reiterate, this is how, just make sure people know how this works. If you have a question or concern or comment or basically anything you want to say about the GSM or the server or anything else, please PM me either in Mumble or in game. Don't PM me the whole question. Just say that you want a turn to speak, and I will add you to a list, and then when it's your turn, I will call you. So again, once again, PM me in Mumble or in game that you want a turn to speak, and I will note you down and call you when it's your turn.
I'm at an MRT station on the Eastern line that already has a claim sign.
Let's see. That was put a long time ago. You can disregard that.
Alright.
Wasn't there? Ah, they've also built an entrance. No. AP
In fact,
did that.
Kitty, if you come over here, they've got emeralds under the lava.
Interesting.
Wait, this isn't your Catania flag? Oh, here.
Why did I crash? What did I do?
You didn't unvanish.
I didn't even unvanish.
So then, are we going to be doing a Q&A or?
Yeah, this is prep for the Q&A. This is
the
list.
I am collecting the list right now while you guys frantically try to build in the eastern portion of the map. Oh, we got a lot of good people wanting to talk here. So,
Claiming Simulator would be a fun game.
I'm surprised nobody's gone for. Oh wait, where's the jungle at? Oh no, that's a different place. Never mind.
That's happening later.
That's, believe it or not, the jungle line.
Really?
You know, it's midnight.
Who would have known?
It's not midnight. It's 7 p.m.
It's 6 p.m.
It's 4 p.m.
No, it's 7
It's 12 p.m.
Anyway,
pajama party that I will be going to later.
Anyway, I think it's time to go through this list. So first up is Mr. Skelly Zomperman.
Okay, so Captain Chimpy would like to ask, if you wish to expand your existing bus terminals into other plots, should you email staff? And also a reminder to other people on the stream that if they want to ask a question, they can DM me in Discord right now.
Okay, that's a good question, Captain. Yes, if you are planning to expand an existing bus station that is already there, please email staff so that we can get the heads up and see if it takes too much space or not. So, okay.
I have no other questions at this time.
Yep. Good to know, Skelly. Okay, moving on to Mega Scatterbomb.
Okay, just a question regarding Premiere inactivity. If the 3-month limit is reached on a Premier City, are the staff going to do maybe like message the mayor or try to get in contact with them to see, hey, are you still active? Is that?
Yeah, that wasn't that wasn't discussed at the meeting, but that is a good idea. We might do that. Definitely in Frozen's case with Whitechapel, we emailed him not because of the town, but mainly because he was an admin and we were wondering what was going on. But yeah, we will make some attempts to try to contact that person, if considering how, they are a premier. So,
and if they say they're not going to return, then will the town be handed to the deputy mayor or caretaker?
I think at that point, if we do contact them, we will ask them if they are okay with transferring the town out. I would like to just clarify: if you're a premier, what this immunity this is just immunity from automatic transfer ownership. So if you're just inactive or banned, or not banned, for example, just if you're just inactive. But if you as a premier want to actually transfer your premier city to someone else, that's still within your right. So if you're doing it willingly, then yes. So in that case, then yeah, if someone has been if a premier has been active for a long time and they want to transfer it to someone else, then that's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next up is Captain Chimpy. I believe your question is, well, yeah, you cheated. You asked one for Skelly and one through Mumble. His question is, what happened to Section 2? And that is Section 2 in the private portion. Excuse me. Is redacted, but I will say at the very, I think it's safe to say at least that it is regarding moderator nominations. So, considering that you didn't hear any announcements about that, I think you can pretty much guess what happened. So. Okay, next question is from Time to Make My Move, but I don't think he's in Mumble. He is listening to the stream. So yeah, Time, could you just PM me your, once the stream catches up, just PM me your message in game. And I will answer it. Hold on one second here.
Yay, I have NX. I'm so happy.
Did that station ever get renumbered?
No, NEX. NEX is the Northern Line Eastern Extension Station.
Well, I just told you.
Okay, while Time is PM me. Okay, he's PMing now. Time's first question, he has two questions. First, who owns ZS21? That would be the original owner, because technically, according to the rules, that person has not been inactive for 3 months. That person has been away for 1 month.
It's 34 links 72 right now.
But whoever is the original owner of ZS21 is the owner at the moment, because they are not inactive enough. So, and I'm going to wait your second question here. Oh, Chief, I don't think they heard you because I was priority speaker. So,
yeah, I'm just confirming that actually.
Okay. Time says, man, my second question sucks, so never mind. I mean, I'm open to any sort of questions as long as it's not a joke question. So, like, this is why we have the Q&A. This is your opportunity to ask anything or bring up any concerns or questions or comments or complaints. Please.
The current owner of ZS21 is 34 links 72.
Yeah, I think it was mentioned in your proposal. I just forgot it. So yeah, no, he technically 34 links 72 is still active according to our rules. So either you're going to have to wait until, like, basically 2 months until he's considered inactive, or wait until he becomes active again. So. Okay. Time, let me know if that answers your question. Otherwise, I'm going to move on right now to the next person. Modern Art. I'm not sure if you're watching the stream or not, but you're up next. Time, I'm not sure what you mean by 34 link 72 did not consult you. If you mean that he didn't reply to you, that's out of your hands, so. Oh, I see. Regarding Time's claim, apparently it was conditionally approved last GSM, but that means you had to, yeah, that's the thing. You needed to consult, you needed to talk to 34 links, and because, well, unfortunately, because you weren't able to, then you still can't, yeah, you still can't get it at this point, so.
Yeah, you are, Time, you are in line for it, so to speak. But because Links is still active per our policy, then you can't get it, just transfer it to himself, or you will need to wait until you're able to get an auto transfer.
Okay. Time, what I'm going to do is after this Q&A, I'm going to just look it back at the previous GSM's ruling and make sure that we're on the same page here. So just hang out for a bit. I'll try to figure this out. Going to Modern Art's question. I'm going to read his, I think he has 2 questions here. First question from Modern Art. First, my original town of NW26 was taken from me from the staff because of Vulpicula putting the email to the staff. I don't understand what that means. Putting in the email to the staff that I wanted to put it in his authority, but I didn't put the email, so technically who owns it? I don't know. That would require us to look up. I'm not sure, staff, if you could look up if there's any transfer of that town.
Wait, what's the name of the town?
Modern Art, can you just say in public chat what the name of the town is? Again, folks, regarding, I know we're open for any sort of questions in the Q&A, but there may, ideally it's best for any sort of general, like broad, like questions about the rules or policies. If it's a specific situation that you have, that's probably best if you, in a more private conversation, instead of taking up other people's valuable public portion time. So just please keep that in mind.
Yeah, what was the station? It was Expo West.
No, NW26.
Ah, NW.
It does not have a teleport point at it.
Ah, I was meant to add one of those the other day.
Yeah,
so
thanks,
I realized
man.
that's why.
Okay. We'll talk to you both in Time and Modern after this. Okay, moving on. Next up is Awesome Keldio.
Okay, so I have a question. So if I go inactive for 3 months and then, so my deputy mayor comes in, but then what happens after that if I come back active because I like forget about the server or something?
This is a very good question. We actually discussed in the private portion. So at length, actually. So yeah, so if you go inactive, you set a deputy mayor, and you come back after 3 months, technically the deputy mayor is the mayor of your town. Now, if they are within their right to not give the town back to you, but considering that basically the deputy mayor that you choose should be someone that you trust and probably good friends with, hopefully. So if you do that, then in most cases, we would hope that deputy mayor would just give the town back to you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
To this quickly. I just want to raise the point that like you can email staff if you are going anyway, and it's like a planned leave still, and in most cases that like your town will be held on to. So if like like you're going on holiday or something and it's like more than 3 months.
Just to make that clear, I was going to get to that moment, but basically, yeah, basically there are tools that you have that you can use to prevent from becoming editor. So if you know that you're going to be away for at least 3 months, you can email staff saying that you're on vacation, or you have a busy semester or something like that, and most cases we will prevent that town from being transferred off to someone else. So you can do that. Also, you can always, if you do have access to Minecraft, you can just log in maybe every once a month or so, and that will still also prevent your town from being removed. Or sorry, given away, because when we look at towns, we usually look at /scene, which says when was the last time the person was on, and yeah, if it says like 3 months or less, or less than 3 months, then we usually say no, it's not eligible for transfer of ownership.
Keep in mind that there are cases where certain special cases where other things will be taken into account.
Also, don't abuse that. Like, you should have a pretty good reason if you're going to be away for a few months and plan to return. Like, if you're going to be studying abroad or something, great. If you're just like, I don't want to play Minecraft for the next 3 months, but still hold my town, that's not going to fly as well. So, keep it in mind.
I mean, you could lie. We never know, but I mean, just don't do that.
Please don't.
And also, there have been situations where some players have accused others of just logging in briefly every month or so, just so their town doesn't go away. And this has gone on. I don't remember who it was, but it has gone on for like years even. If that does happen, that's also not the kind frowned upon. So, again, it's kind of a case by case situation in a lot of cases, but in general, that's the way it is. So.
Just to clarify also, when we say automatic transfers, we're not going to have a script running that automatic checks this every day. Really, it's up to the DM to initiate it and remind us that they are taking ownership. So, but after 3 months, the DM has rights to do so, and we'll just transfer it over.
Yeah. This also applies to any town auctions. So like right after 3 months, it doesn't mean that's going to automatically transfer ownership. Like, it'll be either deputy mayor or someone else looks at your town and says, "Oh, this looks inactive. I'm going to apply request it in the town auction." And at that point, then we will look at it and say whether it's good or not. So hopefully that's a long answer to your question. Hopefully that answered that for you. Awesome.
Yeah, that did.
Okay, cool. Okay, moving on to Mercury 203.
Alright, so I have 2 questions. The first one is, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but I got Marioni from SBDev, and is that the original owner, Kariki Paulo, came back on today. Do I have any obligation to revert ownership to him?
Nope. I think, nope.
Okay, and the second is, now that I own Shadowpoint, am I A, automatically an heir, B, get free promos up to mayor, or C, only eligible for promos to my town of Gado?
So this is how it works. So when you are given a town that is of a rank higher than you, you don't get promoted automatically. Your player promotion or your player rank, it's promoted based on the amount of effort you've done. So basically, towns that you make, best measured by towns that you make your own. You can do it with towns that you have gained ownership of, but the bar is set a lot higher because you're working on stuff that's already existing. So I guess it would be closer to C in your case, your answer is C. Probably the best way for you getting promoted is to work on your original town. So.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to call out for any further questions, but I'm going to swing back to Mega here for another question here.
Yeah, just to follow up to the ranks question. If, let's say you inherit a senator town from someone else, and then you build on it and get it to the requirements normally needed for, say, governor, you're still able to promote or apply for promotion, are you? Or...
You can. It's usually doesn't happen that often, and it's usually a lot more difficult. When you apply for, I think what players need to do if they do that sort of thing, they do need to disclose to the staff like what parts are part of the original town and what parts that they've built. For Senator and Governor town, that's a lot easier to do because you can just say some notes in your form submission. So from there, the staff will evaluate the parts that you've worked on and try to not necessarily ignore the parts that are already existing, but see how your new parts integrate with the old parts. So that is what we ask for if you are doing a promotion like that.
Okay.
Anything else? I'm out of people in my list here, so if you have any further questions. I'm looking on Dynmap right now. It's kind of interesting because everyone's kind of in a line at each station almost.
Huh, I'm the only person in the Eastern Line station that is not in that line.
It's almost as if a line just opened.
I know, right? Really, really shocking.
Okay. Again, if you have any further questions, comments, concerns, please PM me in game or in chat. This is the final call. I will accept any silly questions right now at this point.
Okay, so can you put me on the list?
Sure. Go. Just go.
Alright, so as said, I went to Central City yesterday and I had a really bad restaurant experience. You know how it's that calamar fried chicken? So I went there and they didn't have any lamb sauce. So where's the lamb sauce?
Is this a comedy bit? Because that's not.
Sorry, Mercury, but I don't believe this is Yelp. This is the GSM.
Yeah, this is not for reviews. I'm sorry.
Please
so
post that on Google Reviews
or the wiki or whatever. I don't know. That might. Actually, I'm surprised there are no restaurant reviews on the wiki.
Yeah, it's actually we have airport reviews. We have
safety commissions.
I'm honestly surprised at that.
And here comes a new fad. Okay, moving on. SBDev asks in a very, very important question. SBDev's question is, do you like wide roads? No, I do not like roads at all.
Frumpo prefers trains.
We were in fact sad when Narnia had to leave in the middle of the GSM because he likes roads.
And Frumpo decided to zone out for part 3.
I could just imagine an alternative to the MRT server where instead of rail lines, it's just roads snaking out to the world order.
Would never even consider joining that.
There probably is a server like that. It might be even like GTA themed, maybe. But
there is a GTA themed server. They got a height map of GTA from Cities and Sky. No.
Okay, we got a serious question from Skelly. Go for it.
Do you prefer that the United City Secretary of Enforcement is a staff member, as some members have expressed concerns that a non-staff member would be enforcing MRT rules, or do you not have an opinion?
I actually do have a strong opinion about this. I should have made it probably clear in my first announcement. So the point of the UC self-governing itself is that I want its own members to self-govern. I do not want the MRT staff actually. I want to try to have them not involved in the enforcement of the rules, mainly because one, I think I did actually say this in Discord. One, it would be too much work for them. Like, they're already busy enough enforcing things on the server and other things related to the server. And two, it wouldn't be fair to the rest of the staff members because only the staff members on the UC would be able to enforce. Like, all the staff that are not on the UC would not. And I don't think that's fair. That's a fair workload. So, yes, I would actually prefer that the Secretary of Enforcement in the UC be actually a non-MRT staff member. And I'll even go even further that the resolution 150 doesn't necessarily have to be the MRT rules. If the UC wanted to propose its own set of rules that it would enforce on its own, then I'd be happy with that as long as it kept the same level of decorum and respect that you'd see on the MRT server. So it does not have to be exactly the MRT server rules, but what I'm basically asking the UC is they need to enforce the behavior of their members, and to the point where it doesn't, that sort of drama that happens on there does not leak on the server itself. So.
Oh, so one other more serious question. What's the next MRT line or line segment to be built?
I'm not sure about that. AP has been our basically big line builder. I know that some other staff and players have, offered to, like build lines, but that never gets anywhere. So I'm not sure which one's the next one.
We don't have any concrete plans in the works right now.
Yeah. Like I personally would like to see more like the western line started up at the very least, because I think that part of the map is for the most part neglected. So. I think I might have missed a few questions. Any further questions?
There was a question of what card you drive. Our current theory is a 2015 Compass card.
That's not a car.
It's a card, and it's a card you use for trains.
No. Yeah, AP shouldn't be the only one building MRT lines. I think others need to get on it too. Especially the newer staffers that didn't build the original ones. I think they need to pitch in there. But
yeah, I was considering asking sometime soon if there was one, depending on my schedule.
Well, there is the original plan that was posted in the previous GSM, so you can just look that up, and it doesn't have to follow exactly that line, but just in general, that area. Got a question from Mossy. Regarding the mall building contest, was that for building a whole mall in CC? No. I believe there is already an existing mall in CC. The contest is building, I believe, stores inside that mall.
Yeah, it's the mall at Southwest Terminal.
Yeah.
So the goal is to fill it.
Yeah, I don't think it would be possible to do a whole mall building competition because there's no space for that. So that would be like multiple.
Fill an entire floor just by hosting a season of the mall.
Is that a really bad pun?
Yeah, we're not saying
he's done a challenge in a mole season where it's like your challenge now, while we take a supposed break, is that you must get people to fill this entire floor of the mall with stores, but you can't tell them that it's part of the mall.
But
so it's basically
within
just
like
20
10
minutes
seconds.
of people.
Oh, I see.
Like, attention, we are looking for people to build stores.
Well, actually, he did the challenge twice.
Yeah. And then he did it on the No, that was on the Amazing Race. And then he did it on the mole and said they were like
Yeah, that's why Fairfax Street Mall is pretty filled up.
And that's why
they're like Yoshi is responsible for like 2 floors of the Fairfax Street Mall that currently are filled up.
You see, AP Red threatened to tear down the Fairfax Street Mall, so we have a protest.
Okay. Are there any last comments? And we're going to bring this GSM to a close.
Frumble, you're being fished.
I know that. I'm going to prepare to shock very soon.
How do we keep GSM links down?
How do we keep GSM links down? By not submitting so many... Oh yeah, I forgot to say something regarding this. I actually forgot a few things. Yeah, a couple things. One thing... Sorry, few little last announcements. We would like to remind all players that they should not be asking for world edits in Discord. That's bad, don't do it. And the second thing is, and I think I posted this in Discord on announcements. Yeah, there is a 48-hour deadline. There's going to be a hard 48-hour deadline for any new submissions to the GSM. Anything after that may not be included. Things that we will include is one, if you have any correction or mistake that might have made to the topic. For example, if you see in the public topics that your thing has not been added and you did email staff about it, yeah, please notify staff as soon as possible, and we will try to correct that. Or the second thing that you can send in after the 48-hour limit is if you see a town that's up for auction and you would also like to put your name for that, then you can go ahead and do so. So,
to clarify, this is counter proposals to existing towns. You cannot add a new town to the auction list after the 48-hour cutoff.
Yeah.
We're going to be much, much more strict about that going forward.
I was pretty strict this time around too, because I still got, even after the 48-hour limit, I still got quite a few submissions after the deadline. Please don't do that. That just wastes our time. Also, when it comes to when you're submitting new proposals, please actually think about whether the proposal has a rat's chance in hell of actually getting approved. We do get a few, in my opinion, quite bad ideas. So, yeah, don't waste our time.
Instant ways to have it be not approved is if it's just one sentence emails, or if it should have a map but doesn't. Maps are very useful.
Okay, no, never mind. I was gonna mock them, but never mind. Okay, so
who broke the block?
That is the end of the GSM. Unless anyone has anything else to say.
Please smite Mercury for breaking things.
Okay, This is the end of the GSM. Once again, the next GSM is Sunday, October 19th at 12 p.m. or November 19th at 12 p.m. UTC. So be there or be square. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Who wants to play the draw?
Fred said he had a question in chat. I'm not sure if it's a serious one or...
And that is it for the general staff meeting. There will be more from MRT News channel whenever we get to it. Good night. And thanks for watching.